Hello, this is Mrs. Tilley, and I am attempting to use QuickTime to help me make an instructional video on the workings of Pearson Realize. So bear with me if I stumble over my words. I have not made very many instructional videos before, but hopefully this will be the first of many that you'll see this year to help you and your child at home. Pearson Realize is a program we use throughout Greenfield Central Schools. It is our reading and grammar writing instructional program. It has a wonderful resource for us on the web, and the students visit it quite often during my class. To access that, you want to go to Safari or Chrome. You'll want to type in pearsonrealize.com. We do have a link on the Maxwell webpage, but right now it says Pearson SuccessNet, which was the first version of Pearson Realize that came out a couple of years ago. Hopefully we'll have that link changed to Pearson Realize, and all you'll have to do is go to the Maxwell website and then click on that link. Your child should have brought home a letter from his or her English language arts teacher, and in that letter it would have given you your child's login information, their username and their password. So check with your child to see if they have brought that home, or check with your child's teacher if you are unsure. My homeroom students and my Quest students, I sent that home a couple weeks ago. It was stapled to the graded papers packet that you get on Mondays, and it was right underneath the notes for the fridge. It was a pink piece of paper, and if you saw that page, I had you cut off the bottom fourth of that page and send it back in with your child. So that's the page I'm referring to. And when it should show you, sorry, I need to sign out first. It should show you this dragonfly page. That's what I wanted to get to. And this is where you need the student's username and the student's password. Your child has done this at least 7 or 8 times so far this school year. So they should know it by heart, but if not, it is also taped inside their assignment notebook on one of the first pages of the assignment notebook. I think it has a Maxwell informational page about the phone number and address of our school. So ask your child for this information. I have a fictitious student. His name's Steven Sunshine. And I'll put in his username and password. Oh, and we'll try it again. Sorry. There he is. There we are. And this is the page that your child will see every Friday when we all visit computer labs to take our weekly tests or our unit tests when that time comes. You have mainly 3 buttons here that are where it will take you through this program. Programs, of course, the green button on the left, classes in the middle, and then grades to the right. So we'll just start on the left side with the programs button. This is what you can use Monday through Friday, weekends too if you want to. This is what you can definitely get to at home. For my class this week, we're still in Unit 1. And we are also starting the Week 4 story, The Horned-Toad Prince, which is a great story, by the way. We'll be reading it on Wednesday. But you can see the plans laid out day by day. Now, some days are different. We don't get through everything on one day, and we push it back to the next day. But if you would select day 2, for example, you would first notice that the online student edition pops up. So if you want your child to bring home their textbook every night and one night they forget, you can click this link and that'll take you straight to the online textbook. If you were given a homework assignment to complete a workbook page and your child forgot their homework, forgot to bring home their workbook, you can click here and get to a workbook page, print it off at home and still turn it in. I do give some practice sheets out of the Let's Practice It section. They're called the DVD worksheets. And so if you, again, need an extra sheet, there they are, or you just want them to practice some things at home. There's the online student edition, the main selection, so that's the story we're reading this week. But the one thing I like to assign to my students are the vocabulary activities. This is where we get our definitions every Monday to fill out our vocab grid, vocabulary cards where we find our information. Of course, you could go to the glossary in the back of the book, but what I like about the vocab cards is it not only gives you the definition, sometimes it'll read it to you.
An agreement to trade or exchange. Deal.
Thank you. It'll give it to you in a sentence, but what I like most is it gives you a synonym and antonym if provided. And so that's one thing that students are also writing down is if the word contains a synonym or an antonym. It'll tell you word families as well. Use it in a sentence. Sometimes, though, it'll even give you an illustration. If I can find one with an image, well, there we go. So you can see an image as well. Kind of locks in memory. Hopefully that picture will help lock the definition to the memory, and they'll remember what that word means by seeing a picture. Synonym. Again, more word families. There are other games to play. So to get to flashcard, you just want to use these 2 arrows. that'll take you to the different flashcards. But if you want to get to the other games and resources, this is called Poetry Mix-Up. There are questions that you can get here, and then you try to answer them, try to put the word in the blank that makes sense. The other team blank us by making mean comments, offended. So there you go. There are more games to play. This one seems to be loading. So those are things that you can go back and check with your child at home, have them practice those things at home. Again, the online selection is still here. So again, go back to the different days of the week, look through those short stories, those brief pieces, and that should help you stay with us throughout the week. The other portion that you'll see, the button that you would see, would be classes. And for my student, the Stephen Sunshine that I've made up, he is in my parent night class for now. And this will show you assignments he's not started yet, things that he might be in progress but has not completed, so he's got everything finished, and things that he has completed. And one of the things you can see here is his baseline test and his week 2 test that he took online. If you click on that baseline, you can click it again and see the results from that test. So you see that Stephen Sunshine scored a 51%, 28 questions correct out of 55. We noticed that he needs more practice with the following skills. These are all skills that we plan on practicing and working on throughout 4th grade and watching and monitoring throughout the year so that students are able to master more of these, if not all of them, by the end of 4th grade. Stephen was able to successfully complete those following skills, and then you can see the questions that he had viewed. Now in this section, it is allowing you to go back and view the question that they missed. It doesn't give you the correct answer, but maybe between you and your child, you'll be able to come up with the correct answer. So you are able to go and look at what your child missed and see those things. It allows you to do that under classes, but for some reason, when you go to grades, you can do the same thing, go to the same class that you're in. It presents it as a bar graph, but if I go to that baseline test, I don't know why, go to this baseline test and I go down, same report that you saw before, go down to the baseline, and it doesn't show me, it doesn't allow me to go back and review the question. So if you want to see how your child did on the test and what questions they actually missed, you'll want to go to classes, pop that back up, find the test under the completed tab, find the test, and it'll show you the questions that they missed. Now in 4th grade, you will notice that the student received an 80%. But if you go into Power School, that 80% is not recorded as an 80. I'm actually going to give him 2 grades for this. I want to look and see how well did the student do with the vocabulary section of the test versus how well the student completed the comprehension section of the test. So I'm going to give him a grade for 1 through 12. So when I look at his test, I'm looking at what did we miss 1 through 12? Absolutely nothing. Everything is correct. So this student would receive a 100% in vocabulary. But then when we go down to the story that the student had to read, and let me make a comment about that. We always read a weekly story during class, and we cover the skill of the week. So for this week, it's Author's Purpose, and we're reading the Horton Toad Prince. Now, when we go to Friday and we take that test in the computer lab, we're still covering that skill, Author's Purpose, plus we're going to spiral through a couple of other skills, like sequence and character plot and setting. But it's a fresh read. It's not based on the story that we read in class. So if you're at home and you're making your child read that story we read in class 4 or 5 times because that's what you think the questions are going to be about, that's not how this program is based. It's supposed to be a fresh read, testing the students on the skill of the week, not did they memorize the story we read together in class. So aside from that, this student on questions 13 through 20, all over the fresh read, had 4 incorrect answers. And so when I mark that one in the grade book, it's going to show a 50%. 100% in vocabulary, they're mastering that, but we're still struggling with the comprehension part. So then I'm also focusing on, well, where are they having issues? And the student would need more practice with Author's Purpose and another practice day and sequence. And that's where my small groups come in and where I pull students that also need Author's Purpose and we work together in a small group. Maybe teach it a different way, a different type of practice, with the hopes that they will, next time we see Author's Purpose, will master that skill the next time it's tested. So that's basically the tools that I like to use in Pearson. Again, programs is where you'll find your textbook. classes where we can review the test, and grades just gives you an overall bar graph of how they're doing. We've always asked that the students sign out when they're at school, so you might want them to sign out at home, especially if you have more than one child using the Pearson program. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. I'm Ann Tilley in 4th grade, but if you have other questions on how your English language arts teacher uses this program, then you might want to check with your son's teacher. Hope this was helpful. Thank you.